All right, so we just got done with WWDC, right? Yet another Apple event. So we're done with leaks and rumors for a while. We're done. We're just going to be happy with what we got. No. That's not why you're here. You're here for the latest leaks, the scoops. Apple leaking the M1X MacBook Pro. Apple leaking the new Intel-based Mac Pro. Apple leaks about new iPads. There's so much good stuff to talk about today, as always. So if you're excited, drop a like down below to seriously help me and the channel out. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you're always staying up to date on the latest Apple news. Let's go ahead and get jumping in. Let's go ahead and just well, look at us in the leaks. Whoa. But before jumping into the leaks, of course, a new episode of Genius Bar is out. It's me and John Prosser talking all about WWDC. I confront him and say, you told me there was a MacBook Pro coming. Where is the MacBook Pro as promised? It's super entertaining, and if you guys want to check it out, a link is down below per usual. Okay, jumping into things, where do we even start off? I say we start off with the new iPad news, because Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, Mark Gurmy, love you, buddy. He's actually really great. He's 90% accurate. Essentially, the best Apple source in the game is out with some fresh details about a number of new iPads. In his latest report, Gurman talks about the next iPad mini being redesigned, a new version of the base level $329 iPad, and also the 2022 iPad Pro. So let's start off with all the details here because there's a lot. And let's start at the base iPad. It's the $329 one, generally what Apple just recycles somewhat new technology into to keep costs down. For the 2021 iPad 9, it's just going to be thinner and lighter, and that's like really the only detail we have, and that Apple will continue to target it towards students. We don't know if this means like support for the second Apple Pencil finally, or if thinner and lighter means a new design. It just sounds like we're basically going to be getting the same, it's the base iPad. We don't expect a lot here. It's the base $329. Like I said, it's just everything Apple's done in years past that's finally cheap enough to put into something that is really the base possible tablet Apple sells. And it's always been weird to me that is actually a cheaper tablet than the iPad mini, which is significantly smaller. And for a lot of you, whenever I say iPad mini, you're probably a little triggered because it hasn't been updated in a while, number one. And number two, because when it is generally updated, it's a new processor and the same screen. Like the iPad mini is fundamentally the same product today as it was when it came out in, I think, 2013. Remember Steve Jobs didn't want an iPad mini, and then, Tim Cook came in and was like, mini iPad for everybody. All of this in mind, over the past few months, you've probably seen these dumb renders and concepts of the iPad Pro mini, but that's not gonna happen, so stop dreaming. Okay, I should be honest with you. Well, that was the consensus because no one credible had actually said there was going to be a redesign. But Mark Gurman in this latest report said there is going to be a redesign and described it like this. The new iPad mini is going to have slimmer bezels, and the updated design could even remove the home button. And I'll be honest, there's no need for these big bezels on the top and bottom if there's no home button, which seems to pretty clearly suggest that it's going to be a mini iPad Pro, or maybe more specifically, more accurately, a mini version of the iPad Air. I mean, who knows? Could the iPad mini come in colors like the iPad Air? I wouldn't be shocked. That and the fact that John Prosser and Renders by Ian actually showed us today what the new iPad mini looks like. And I want to go over these images because they're real nice. I mean, honestly, there's not that much to go over. It's exactly what we were just talking about. It's like a mini version of the iPad Pro. You've got your slimmer bezels. You've likely got Face ID, but it could also be Touch ID on here as well. You've got a larger screen, an all-screen design. You've got a camera system on the back. Most broadly, you've got the same rounded rectangle design that we see on the iPhone 12, that you see on the iPad Pro, that you see on the iPad Air, that you're going to see on the new MacBooks, that you're going to see on the new Apple Watch. Apple's all in for this rounded rectangle. And speaking of which, it is on the 2018 iPad Pro that we saw this new era of design language debut. And considering that it's been 4 years and the iPad Pro really looks identical now as it did in 2018, aside from some minor camera tweaks, it's time for an upgrade in 2022. We're getting like an all-new iPad Pro next year. And while we haven't heard a lot about like if the squared rounded rec design language is changing, we have heard about the materials used to make it. And you know how the iPad has been aluminum since the iPad came out? And it's light, and it's cheap, and it's fine. But the iPhone 7 was also fine being metal. and there was no reason to keep it around because it turns out when you change the material on the back, which is what Apple is doing, they are giving the iPad a glass back, which is gonna be so premium. I'm beyond excited for this. Like, the aluminum's fine. I just like the glass. I'm a huge fan of the iPhone ever since they switched from aluminum to glass, and with that, you get some big upgrades. First of all, wireless charging is coming. Qi-enabled charging on the iPad Pro. Now, I don't have anything like properly sized to charge a 12.9-inch iPad Pro, but I'll get real creative, and it turns out Apple's gonna be addressing this as well because there's gonna be a MagSafe-like system that Apple ships alongside the new iPads. How long has the screen been out? Has this been out the entire time? There we go. All right, I don't know if it's been out, but it's back now. Listen, but that's great, right? The wireless charging being there is cool, but there is one feature that's also coming, and that's reverse wireless charging, which is something that was rumored to be on the iPhone and just hasn't happened yet. And this is gonna allow you to set your AirPods or possibly even an Apple Watch on the back of your iPad, and it will use your iPad's battery to Qi charge them, which is, oh, such a good idea. It's this giant battery pack that happens to be a tablet. I mean, the same thing could be said with the iPhone. Like, I'm always at the gym and my AirPods just always die. I'm not always at the gym. I just got back in like the first time in a month. I was slacking, but listen, every time I go, like clockwork, I swear to God, the little AirPods go, and then they die. And how do I charge them? I gotta go all the way back into my apartment, like 2 floors, and I have to charge them. And it's heartbreaking, and I'd appreciate if you guys would be my support group, but you don't have to be. My point is that this is a cool technology that we haven't seen on an Apple product yet, where Samsung users have been enjoying it on the Galaxy series forever, and I'm ready. I want to see this on the iPad, and that alone makes the glass back worth it. So that's the iPad news for this video. We're gonna take a short break. We're gonna, get WeVPN'd up, and then we're gonna jump right back into some good stuff. So here we go.
But listen, if this guy's not gonna sit here and tell you the truth, then I will. He ain't been using protection. He's been raw dogging everything out there, all right? And he's caught them all, as they say. He's got to start being safe online. He's got to use my exit went away, but he's got to use WeVPN. Listen, you guys know WeVPN. They're the guys that came from all the other VPN companies doing sketchy stuff with your data to create a fundamentally better product that was one of the best, fastest, and most reliable options on the entire market. And recently I've heard some birds chirping outside, which means that it's spring and WeVPN has launched their spring sale for the 2 years plan, which gets you 73% off and 2 months for free at only $2.69 a month. This gives you access to all their premium features, over 50 server locations around the world, and even the ability to unblock content from Netflix, Hulu, BBC iPlayer, and so much more. And when you enter the code iupdate at checkout, you get an additional 10% off. So my challenge is this: whether you've been using a different VPN for years, yuck, or this is your first time hearing about a VPN, head over to wevpn.com/iupdate today if you trust me, if you like what I do here, and start staying safer online. How was that? Did you guys enjoy it? All right, welcome back. Listen, did a gunshot just go off? Did you guys hear that? That's my oven. So we started off with the iPad, and now I want to follow up with some Mac stuff because Apple has leaked 2 things that are just huge, okay? And I have so many thoughts on them. The first is a literal M1X MacBook Pro. The second is a new Intel-based Mac Pro. I want to start off with the Intel thing because I just want to get Intel out of the way. We're basically done talking about this, but there is actually one more Intel Mac in the pipeline, and that is an Intel-based Mac Pro. How do we know this, Sam? You always talk about leaks and rumors, and I don't like when you do that because I like confirmation straight from the little birdie named Tim Cook. Well, hey, I like the little birdie Tim Cook too. He's snacking around sometimes. Well, that's what we got here because there is a bug on my light. Are you kidding me? That was a great take, bug. Anyway, for the new Intel Mac Pro, it is going to be the last Mac. Mark Gurman confirmed this on Twitter, but also we don't need confirmation from leakers on this one. Why? Oh, because Apple just leaked it themselves. A developer over on Twitter found that in Xcode 13, the first beta that got released alongside iOS 15, macOS Monterey, and everything else that Apple just unveiled at WWDC, there is a reference to an Ice Lake Intel Mac. And with Apple transitioning the MacBooks very shortly, more on the MacBooks in a second, with Apple transitioning the Mac Mini later, and the iMac already started its transition, there's no more Intel Macs aside from this one geared toward the professional market coming. And we have no specs or details here, just that it's going to be Intel's Ice Lake chips. But this is one of those updates that I would expect a very small press release for, if not just a general site update. Like the Mac Pro is an important product to Apple, but it's very niche, it's not mass market, and it's gonna be something that Apple just updates overnight, super subliminally. But I would expect that to come relatively soon, definitely before the end of 2021. Now, there's another product that we're waiting for. There's another product that a lot of us were disappointed we didn't see at WWDC, and a product that was supposed to come out, right? It felt like summer was the right time. Mark Gurman said summer. John Prosser said WWDC. Reputable sources said we'd be getting new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros with an M1X inside. But that's the thing with rumors and leaks, is that at the end of the day, they can break down. And as much as I trust in these people, and I think you should broadly trust them as well, they can be wrong. And Apple's plans can change. But a fellow YouTuber by the name of Max Balzer, who's been doing some great content, he noticed something really weird after WWDC ended this year. He was looking through the tags of Apple's WWDC keynote, and he noticed a couple that stuck out. You know, they were the normal ones like Apple or WWDC or Apple event or iOS. But then at the end, there were two more. One that said M1X MacBook Pro, and the second that just said M1X. In the official description, in the metadata section of this YouTube video, Apple has written the words M1X, a chip that hasn't been released, and M1X MacBook Pro, a computer that hasn't been released. Now, I've seen some takes on this. I've seen quite a few, you know, all these little marketing gurus out there. They said, please, I know nothing about the internet. This is for SEO. You might have heard that phrase, SEO. Search engine optimization. Look, I'm even gonna put it in post. Search engine optimization. Does that mean I know what I'm talking about? In my case, yes, because I literally do this for a living, and I know a lot about SEO. But here's the thing, why would Apple need that? Why would Apple clickbait in the metadata a product that didn't come out and that currently doesn't exist? I don't think it was for the SEO. Sorry, everybody on Reddit that's heartbroken. Let's say it was for search engine optimization. Let's say it would get more clicks if Apple put this in the description. Okay, well, I can tell you what's a lot hotter than MacBook Pro M1X, which is highly niche still. iPhone 13, iPhone 12s, new iPad, Apple Watch, AirPods. These are all tags that Apple could have put in here as well about Apple Watch Series 7 and AirPods Pro 2. I'm sure that would have been great. But did they? No. They just referenced this MacBook Pro in here. That's a standout. So I think this is intentional, and we don't know why yet. But as discussed on my Genius Bar podcast with John, there's apparently a press briefing that nobody knows what it's for in a couple of weeks. So I'll keep you guys updated, but I really think these MacBook Pros are just around the corner. Why did we not see these? Well, Digitime says it's because there were some component delays for the mini LED displays. So it seems like it's out of Apple's control, and I fully believe they wanted to announce these MacBook Pros now. They just weren't ready quite yet. Isn't this fascinating that Apple did this? I'm blown away by this move. It's just crazy. And I hope it was intentional. I hope it was a hint. And I hope it was fun. I hope you guys had fun watching this video. If you did, drop a like down below. Hit subscribe for more so you're always staying up to date. Listen, there's one place to get Apple news. It's right here. Did you think I was going to say that? I was going to say something else funnier to like get you guys to laugh, but just here, just me. Just Sam. All right, love you guys. Hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.